In today's clip, I'm going to talk about practical advice for managers everywhere and answer the internal question of should a boss prefer to be feared or loved? Heyo, Zempak here. Another day not working for the man. Alright, so today's topic, one of my favorite in the annals of office politics. Should a boss be feared or loved? Okay, so first of all, are those the only options? Actually, no. There is a third option, which is to have your troops feel indifferent about you. That honestly is the worst option. If all you can say about your manager is the verbal equivalent of meh, then I'm sorry, you failed as a manager and you will never get anywhere in the corporate world. Okay? Because we human beings respond to extreme emotions like love and hate. But of course, you definitely do not want to be hated as a boss. That is why I said feared, because if you've swung so far to the extreme that you're actually hated as a boss, you've also failed. I take hate over indifference though, right? But only slightly. If you're hated, you're doomed, as well as hate actually makes your troops actively either work against you or simply leave your domain entirely. Now, on to the choices that we actually outline right from the beginning. Since indifference is the worst and hate is second worst, what's next? Well, this is where I think the answer is somewhat going to be unexpected, right? I would say next one up would be loved, okay, on the scale. After all, who doesn't want to be loved, right? We all want to be loved. However, as a motivation though, I think Ron from Parks and Recs, the show, can attest to this, right? Love is simply not the best motivator. You want to do enough to be respected, yes. And that'll mean some of your troops will love you. That's great. Like I said, we all want to be loved after all, just as human beings. But love alone can be a poor substitute for kind of getting your troops to do the work for the company, for the corporate man, okay? Because at some point as a boss, you will have to drive your troops hard. So hard that they won't think of you simply as an authority figure that gives out bonuses and that sort of thing, right? And to be admired. And that's going to annoy your troops because of how hard you're driving them, right? So back to simply respect that you go. So ideally, here's the thing on the scale of hate on the one extreme and love on the other, right? You want to be respected with a possibility of being loved. You want to be respected, but also feared, but not so much feared that you're actually hated. Now, if I had to pick between whether you want to be loved or feared, I'd actually prefer a manager to be feared, because most human beings are driven by necessity rather than self-motivation, right? And fear is a much more powerful motivator in that sense. Hey, don't take it just from me, right? I'm taking my cues from the Machiavellian tome of The Prince. Go read that. I'm basically stealing his argument for being a great ruler and applying it to the office, right? Because honestly, office politics and actual politics are not that different in concept, right? They're different in execution because you're not talking about ruling over and fighting with other people for your lives, right? In The Prince, if you lose a game of politics like the Game of Thrones, you are most likely to be dead. Not so much, the stakes aren't so much higher, or so much in office politics. I mean, does it work? If you need evidence, just look at how many hot entrepreneurs that we admire, like Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, who are all considered assholes by those of people who've actually worked directly for them and then wrote books, right? Why is it that they can be assholes and still succeed? Because they instill fear, but not hate. And they are immensely respected, okay, by their own company's people, right? No matter how hard they drove their folks. Technically, if you get to the level of these, fantastical entrepreneurs, you are also loved. But remember, the love for the entrepreneurs actually come from their fans, not from their underlings, all right? But hey, you don't have to listen to me. I'm not a famous CEO, right? But I have been a middle manager at small to large companies for over a decade. So yeah, at the very least, if you get to where I was at in the corporate ladder, you've by all means succeeded, right? So cheers. And also check out some of my other videos on them corners. See you later.